Hi, good morning. Welcome back. And of course, we are into the sporting segment at 1 minute to 8. Again, I'm blaming Ronald Wood for this late segment. And we're going to go until 8:30 this morning. We are at the Magdalena. Yeah, Magdalena, beautiful Magdalena this morning. And just chatting with Akinlabi about all that's happening with sports in Tobago. And, I came here this morning, on my way here, I was very much upbeat, knowing that we have so much happening with sports, and we have a number of Tobagonians going out there and represent Trinidad and Tobago. Only to hear on another frequency that the NACAC team that should have departed this morning to go to Nicaragua, the NACAC team representing, Trinidad and Tobago team made up of all Tobagonians, both athletes and management. I am told that they were denied boarding because they didn't have vaccination. Have you ever heard of such nonsense, Akinlabi?
I've never heard of this.
I've never heard of such nonsense. And I'm calling it nonsense because you cannot tell me that the entry has been doing this for how many years? Decades. And I'm sure that they have traveled to Nicaragua before and they have known that to go into Nicaragua, you have to have your vaccination. You understand? Yellow fever vaccination or whatever vaccination cards you have to have. We didn't have it, so they were denied boarding. As a result of that, they couldn't travel to Nicaragua to compete as a Trinidad and Tobago team. And I jokingly mentioned earlier this week when I saw the listing of the management and of course the athletes, that it was a Tobago national team because all the athletes obviously from Tobago and all the management from Tobago. Can you imagine the feeling at this time of those young athletes not being able, some for the very first time because someone have gone before, making your first national team, excited to go out and represent your country, your family, your friends, and to be told that they can't travel.
Yeah, and the thing about it is that for the athletes, it might be a feeling of disappointment, serious disappointment. But for the management, that's embarrassing.
Yeah,
that's embarrassing.
Of course, it's embarrassing. The athletes would have put in all the work. That have actually gotten themselves selected, and the management, all they have to do behind the scenes, ensure you get the ticket, hotel accommodation, gong transportation, and one of the most important things you have to, even me, when I'm traveling, I look to see what I have to get to go into a country.
Yes.
You must have vaccination, right? Some countries it's relaxed, but Nicaragua, I'm sure that's on their website. And how are you going to come to me and explain you missed that as management? Or is it that they came in after? But
and when do the games start?
Well, they were traveling today. I think tomorrow the games would have actually started. Right?
So even if they go and get the vaccines today, it might be too late.
But that's the next thing, because I was actually trying to get onto Kelsey, who's a coach. But I could imagine her head at this time. So hopefully we can provide an update throughout the day. On the realities of what's to come, what's plan B. Right?
And they're already in Trinidad.
They're already in Trinidad. I think they went to Trinidad last night to travel this morning.
So the NAAAs now, are they going to be paying that additional hotel fees and that kind of thing?
This is a developing story. So I'm hoping that we can get more information. But at this time, that's news that I received on another frequency from someone I know very credible. That they were denied boarding because they didn't have the vaccination. A team made up of Tobagonians, from the coach Kelsey, we had Cheryl McPherson, we had Alan Morrison as well, and Soren Bishop. Those were the coaches appointed, and then all the athletes from Tobago not going. If I sit here and I want to be like very, very biased in a sense, it looks like sabotage to Tobago athletes or Tobago team.
And Tobagonians will immediately go to that thought because of the historical kind of treatment that we received.
Exactly.
A lot of Tobagonians are going to go straight to that kind
of because this is historic. It's the first time we have had a team selected where all Tobagonians representing the country. And obviously it was blown up on the media as well. Very, very historic. And coming from a place where we don't have the right to sit them to train. And I really want to shout out to all the clubs, all the coaches that would have prepared all the athletes and that have gone on there, put in the work, only to be denied by some vaccination card that I believe the entries should have been on top of. Very, very, very much embarrassing.
I would be really interested to hear what the entries is going to say as to the reason for this slip-up, because this is something that is very rudimentary.
And it's common because as I said before, if I'm traveling to a country that I haven't traveled to before, I will try my very best, especially with the airline I'm traveling with. They normally publish all these things. If you're going to travel to a particular country, they will tell you have to get this, you have to get that. And obviously coming out of COVID, these are things that you always have to get to do. International vaccination card, not because it's not required to go to the USA. I will always put that in my bag, just in the event that they ask for it, because they don't want to be in a country that they can't return home because they don't have a card. And I mean, this is not the first time. We are accustomed traveling to these countries, and I'm really looking forward to see what the NGOs will put out as an excuse.
Yeah, because this is, like you said, this is not the first time. This is basic protocol. We've never heard of anything happening like this with any of our track and field teams before, which means that the NAAA is accustomed checking up on vaccination cards for all the athletes and all the management. That's what I'm saying. So how come in this one instance,
where all Tobago,
you all of a sudden your protocols fall apart?
And we're not casting aspersions this morning, but I mean, if it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So I'm looking forward to getting from the entries, because as I said, I try to reach out to Kelsey, but I can imagine where her headspace is at this time, and how are you going to console the athletes? Because to get selected for your very first national team and tell all your friends, hey, I'm going to Nicaragua, but you're remaining Trinidad, that's embarrassing. And then you may not want to go again because you'll be fearful that if I go through this again, maybe I'm not going to be able to represent my country. You know, so I'm hoping that there is a plan B, that somehow later on this evening we may be able to get on. But how fast can we get the vaccination cards from if it is that we have to get it from, where we have to get it from?
Well, they have to get them from Tobago, they give them brand new vaccination cards in Trinidad.
So I'm hoping, Akinlabi, that there's another flight sometime this evening, or probably tomorrow morning, that we can still get in. And probably if it is that we may have to miss an event, but to still get the travel experience.
And that's the next thing, you miss an event, a child that worked their whole, they put in so much sacrifice.
Yes.
And that might be the only event they participate in, and they're going to miss it. That's really bad. So,
I mean, I came here this morning, obviously, to just do a sporting roundup. I'm sure that you have been following all the different things that happen.
I try my best.
That's been happening. You'll have had our conclusion of the primary schools cricket league, and I'm seeing in the corner of my eye, Ronald Wood giving me the signal again. You know, at 1 minute to 8, we came on talking sports. I mean, you're behaving like the back page of them papers, you know. But anyhow, we're talking about primary schools cricket league, right? And we had Wim Anglican being crowned champions for a second consecutive year. And I want to say congratulations to Wim Anglican. And then we had Scarborough FC. They are going to represent the Tobago zone in this Republic Bank sponsored cup. It's 5 overs, 5-a-side, a kind of kiddie cricket thing. Very exciting. And they would have won the Tobago district, where they competed against 10 other teams. And they're going to go to Trinidad next Wednesday to compete against the other zonal winners. So I want to congratulate Wim Anglican for being crowned the Tobago Primary Schools League champions consecutive years. I won it last year. And then Scarborough FC winning the Republic Cup. And of course, we're going to be having an international youth cricket tournament. I mean, forgive the bias to cricket, right? But it's happening right now.
Yes.
Right? So we have an international youth tournament starting on Sunday, where we have 3 teams coming out of the UK. They are going to be here. A team from Barbados, a team from St. Lucia. We've got 2 teams from Trinidad and then 1 team from Tobago. They will be competing in this international youth tournament right here in Tobago. 8 teams. We're going to have matches at Plymouth, Speyside, Shore Park, Roxborough, and Moriah. We're going to hear much more about it on Monday. I think one of the organizers from the UK, they are due to come on the Tobago Updates program Monday morning to talk about how this came about and, you know, how is it going to impact Tobago? And I'll look ahead. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Let's encourage all of Tobago interested in cricket to get out there on Sunday. I'm going to obviously share the schedule because I'm not too sure what time the game's going to start as yet. But we're going to have 50 overs, which normally would start around 10 a.m. And then we're going to have T20s, which will normally start in the evening or afternoon period. So on Sunday, it's going to start on the Sunday and finish on the 14th. Right? So something to look forward to, especially for the youngsters. Final week of school next week to get out there and take it in. Yeah, so and we also have basketball at Montgomery. This weekend, I think the playoffs for the Tobago Basketball League is going to happen at Montgomery this weekend. We haven't had, I will actually have seen local basketball though.
It's been a while.
They would have had it at the indoor, the complex, Shore Park complex. I had the preliminary rounds, and they're going to have the knockout stages this weekend at Montgomery Hardcourts, a brand new Montgomery Hardcourts. Then we had rugby. So you saw the rugby action at the Colon Colon Beach facility, where we had some teams coming from outside of Trinidad and Tobago participating there as well. And, you know, I spoke to the main organizer, Jay Wright, and she told me that it was a success. I mean,
that's a sevens competition?
Yes. First time that I've had it at I think the second year that I've had it at the beach facility.
This is the first time I'm actually hearing about rugby on sand.
You see, again, sport always on the back page. Always on the back page, you know.
Never heard about rugby on sand at all. Okay.
Yeah. So this was the first time they had it on the beach, but kind of beach atmosphere.
Right.
And it was really, really exciting to see. Obviously, you know, sand, you know, tie your body around in that sense, you know. First time they've had it, and you know, speaking to one of the organizers, he mentioned that you know they were very low in terms of sponsors, and they're hoping to get it bigger and better next year. But you know, we really have to do better when it comes to sport advertising and marketing and getting sponsors on board. Because I mean, these events, sport tourism, it can do a lot for Tobago. And I'm sure if Tobago would have actually seen or heard about the event, more persons would have gone out there and gotten on board. You know. So Akinlabi, in terms of the roundup of sports, really sorry to come with this sad news of the NACA team.
It was important. We really need to talk about that. You know, that's a breaking story, and quite frankly, that's our Tobagonian boys and girls. You know, we need to look out for them. We need to advocate for them and make sure that they're treated well. Yeah.
So as I said, I'm hoping that I get more information on it and can share with the Tobago updates. Followers and of course on social media as well. Hoping that we still get a trouble.
Yes.
You know, so that's a wrap for me. You know, well into the 8 o'clock hour. I know we have Chanel up next with Good Morning Tobago. So viewers, thank you so much for again tuning into the sporting segment. Very short sporting segment this morning. Hopefully next week we're gonna have at least the whole hour to talk about all the development of sport on the island. Look forward to that interview on Monday. Chris and the others from the UK to talk about the International Youth Tournament. And don't forget, Akinlabi, tomorrow we have Sun Up. You have Sun Up tomorrow. You have Sun Up tomorrow. I know we have no interview with Sun Up, but don't forget Sun Up happening tomorrow out there in Aga. Yes? Akinlabi, nice being here this morning.
All right.
Hey guys, well, of course, right after the break, we're going to have Good Morning Tobago with Chanel Felix. Of course, don't forget to share the live.